Welcome back to Success Unlocked. I'm Dr. Adrienne Shnier, and this podcast is all about helping you unlock your potential, transform the way you think, and become the person who is capable of creating the future that you truly want. Today, we're diving into a concept that has the potential to completely change the way you approach university, applications, career goals, your personal growth, everything. And that concept is something that we talk about all the time in the Success Society, and that is the power of assumption. Now, when I say assumption, I don't mean ignoring reality. I don't mean pretending that what is happening is not happening. I don't mean pretending challenges don't exist or simply wishing that something will happen without taking action. That is the kind of viral manifestation that you see online. That's not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is much deeper. We're talking about the identity that you hold for yourself, the story that you tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, and what is possible for your future. Because one of the biggest lessons that I have learned from working with students over the years is this: your results do not exceed the level of belief that you have in yourself. That means that your belief functions as a ceiling for you. And if you believe you can't do it, if you believe that others are better than you, that's your ceiling. And your results cannot exceed that ceiling. So before you ever receive your acceptance letter, before you ever achieve your score, before you ever step into your dream career, there's an internal transformation that has to happen first. You have to become the person who believes that that future is possible for you. So, something that we talk about all the time in the Success Society is that your inner world creates your outer world. Now, the Success Society is a really special place because this is where I bring executive coaching to students. This is where we bring mindset and peak performance work that CEOs and executives and professionals pay multiple six figures a year for. And here we bring it to students in our membership. Why? Because this work is the foundation of the fabric. It is the fabric of your life. It is the fabric of your decision making. It is the fabric of how you trust yourself. It's the fabric of how you operate. It is the foundation upon which you build everything. And I don't think you should wait until your 50s or 60s to get that kind of coaching. I think that if you have access to this kind of coaching, and our clients have access to this kind of coaching in the Success Society, this will set you up for the rest of your life so that as you go on and maybe do some more executive coaching, you've already built this foundation. It is not new to you once you're in a role that then the company or whoever is paying it is investing in for you, because now they need you to succeed. Here, you need you to succeed. You are succeeding. So you have to do this kind of work in order to create the fabric that is going to really just wrap, honestly, like your whole life in this protective blanket of self-assuredness, of trusting yourself, of trusting your decision-making, of owning your decision-making. All of this it's just the foundation of everything. And if I had my way, and this is one of the reasons we do this here, every student would have access to this. And so here, we make this accessible for you in our monthly membership called the Success Society, so that you can have access to this kind of coaching every single Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. So let's talk a little bit more about this concept of your inner world creating your outer world. One of the central ideas is that your external reality is influenced by your internal state. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your attitudes, your perspectives, your assumptions shape the way you see opportunities, challenges, and yourself. Think about two students preparing for the same competitive program. Of course, here we have our non-competition philosophy, and that means here that you are not sharing your scores with anybody other than me and your coach. But for a moment, let's think about these competitive programs, because there are finite spots. There are not infinite spots in a program. Think about two students preparing for the same program. One student looks at the application process and thinks, probably not going to get in. There are so many qualified applicants and I'm not good enough. Everyone has higher scores than I do. Everybody has more than I do, more experience, more something than I do. They must know something that I don't. They know people that I don't. And we've worked through this with our clients all the time. And student B faces the exact same circumstances, but thinks, this is challenging, but I'm someone who figures things out, and I'm willing to learn and grow and do what it takes. Here at AYG, you can enter as person A or person B. You can enter as a mixture of both. And over time, not only do you shift into more of yourself, but you shift into somebody who believes, I figure things out all the time. I mean, just think about it. Look back in your life right now. When was the last time you didn't figure something out? Just think about it. When was the last time you didn't figure something out? Never. You have figured things out 100% of the time. Why would what's coming be any different? You figure everything out. You already are that person, but do you believe it? In this circumstance of student A and student B, there's something important that we should notice. The circumstances are identical. The application requirements are the same. The competition, if you're seeing the video or you're listening to audio, I'm doing the air quotes. The competition is the same. The deadlines are the same. Because here, of course, I put air quotes around competition because I don't believe you have competition. When you are so truly and authentically yourself and you come to this process of your applications, your standardized test studying, building your life the way that you love, the way that you want to, creating a life that you love beyond your wildest dreams, there's no competition. When I was applying to my master's, my PhD, my law degree, I had no doubt that I was going to get in. I knew I was going to get in. I believed I was someone who figured things out. I believed that that was my next step, and I acted accordingly, and I had the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions of the person who gets in. Now, did I slip sometimes? Sure. Did I think sometimes, other people might have more than me? Sure. That's natural to think, but the bounce back is what's important. The bounce back, how quickly you become aware of your thoughts and how quickly you reject them. Like, some people find it very useful. As soon as you have that like intrusive thought, you're just like, reject. Reject. Because what you think is what you become. Some other people I know say delete. Delete. Delete the thought. It's not there. You have to create your internal experience, and you have to be aware of what that internal experience is. So the internal experience of person A and person B are totally different. Why? Because their assumptions about themselves are different. The first student approaches the process from a place of limitation, while the second student approaches it from a place of possibility. That changes everything. Because your beliefs influence your actions. Your thoughts influence your feelings, which then dictate your actions. You will not act out of alignment with your feelings. You will not act out of alignment with your thoughts. So what are you choosing your thoughts to be? And this is trainable. Your brain is neuroplastic. You have all the power in the world here. You change your thoughts. You control your thoughts. You control your feelings. You control your actions. And so some people might say, no, like so-and-so said this to me and I'm out, like I'm raging. I'm so upset. But what came before that? The feeling is like is so strong that we forget or we're not aware of the thoughts that came first. And the thoughts that came first were, whoa, whoa, whoa. What did they just say to me? Like, that's not who I am. That doesn't align with me. And it's so out of alignment with who you are and who you believe yourself to be that then that feeling bubbles up. That feeling of defensiveness, which then influences your action. So I'm going to text them back, or I'm going to call them back, or I'm going to say this, or whatever it is. I'm going to react this way. But instead, I would invite you in that split moment to just pause for a second and think, okay, this is my feeling. But what was the thought that came before it? And firstly, is it accurate? And secondly, do I care what this person says or thinks? Like, why would I spend all of this energy, all of this mental energy expended on this conversation? What, to defend myself against a belief that I don't believe is true? Someone else's perspective? When I could just as easily have said, okay, thank you for telling me your opinion and showing me what you think. And I can choose to believe that. I don't have to change my self-concept of myself. I don't have to change my self-concept of myself. In fact, I won't. Instead, we put in perspective what the other person has said. And this is true for that. It's true for applications. It's true for everything. It's true for all of your success. It's true while you're sitting in your classroom looking at the people beside you, also wondering, what are they doing? Am I good enough? Or somebody tells you, this happened to me all the time in law school. Oh, like, have you finished the readings? And of course, the readings are like hundreds of pages and they were assigned yesterday. And I'm just like, no. And they're like, I have. And I was like, okay. I didn't ask. And then we question the accuracy of those things. I don't put it on myself and say, oh my God, I'm behind. I should have read more. I should have done this. I should have done that. Instead, I'm like, well, maybe it's true that you did. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's not actually my business. It's also not my method or my learning style. And also, even if you did, maybe you understood it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you have to redo the whole thing. Like, I don't know. Why am I going to waste time and energy then bringing that back on myself and having some kind of judgment on myself because somebody else asked a question that they obviously just wanted to answer? So your beliefs influence your actions. If you believe that you are capable, you're more likely to ask for help, seek support, seek feedback, seek strategy, seek improvements, and continue moving forward when things get difficult. And we talk about this all the time. This is hard. When people say this is hard, the LSAT is hard, the MCAT is hard, the data is hard, applications are hard, this is hard, everything's hard. And what I say is, it's new. It's new to you. It's new to you. So of course it feels hard or challenging, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. Everything you know, everything you've ever learned, you learned from scratch. You were not born with this objective knowledge of anything. You were born with your intuition. You were born with other things that are wildly important, but you were not born with things that you have had to learn. You were not born knowing how to walk. You were not born knowing how to talk, but you practiced, and you didn't have this lens that, learning language is hard, like we do when we're older. Right? So if you believe you figure things out, and if you believe in learning, and if you believe that new things are new and not necessarily hard because they do get easier as you learn them, then you will move forward when you feel like something is challenging rather than getting down on yourself. The student who believes they are incapable is more likely to avoid challenges, procrastinate, and interpret setbacks as evidence that they were never meant to succeed. Your identity becomes the foundation for your behavior. So what do you need to do? Here at AYG, we take all of our students through a process where you get really acquainted with future you, and you become future you before you actually get there. So one of my favorite questions to ask in coaching is, who do you need to become in order to achieve those goals that you have set for yourself? And I even go beyond this big time. We go to the place of future you, future fully accomplished, fully achieved, fully successful you, and we sit there. And we figure out how you feel as that person, the version of you that is fully successful, fully achieved. How do you feel? You probably feel calm. You feel fulfilled. You feel secure. You feel free. You feel unbound by anybody or anything. You feel like you have choice. You feel trust. And also, learning is just something you do. It's just something you do. And from that place, as future you, fully achieved, fully successful you, what decisions did you make today to get there? Who did you surround yourself with today to get there? Who did you not surround yourself with today to get there? That's a tough one, because that causes us to really look in the mirror. So who do you need to become? Who do you need to surround yourself with? Who do you not need to surround yourself with? What are the thoughts, feelings, and actions that you need to have in order to achieve what you want from the place of the goal? So this is not asking what you need to do. This is not asking what resources you need. This is not asking what strategy you need. Those things matter, sure. That's the how. That will come. Step by step, that will come, and it becomes clearer as you move forward. But before the strategy, before the how, comes your identity, who you believe yourself to be, what you believe you can achieve. So let's say you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, a vet, a naturopath, chiropractor, entrepreneur, anything. You cannot wait until the day you receive your acceptance letter or until you get that first success that you feel, because you have little successes and big successes along the way, that acceptance letter or that big thing that happens, it's not the success. It is the culmination of many successes before it. And you can't wait until that moment of affirmation and validation to start thinking like a future doctor, lawyer, dentist, entrepreneur, whatever it is. You begin by becoming that person now. A future physician, a future lawyer, a future entrepreneur, whatever you're going for is somebody who develops discipline. I always say discipline is freedom. It is not a prison. A future you, a future successful, fully achieved you develops discipline. A future successful, fully achieved you takes responsibility, stays curious, is accountable, believes that mistakes are not mistakes, they're not failures, they're redirections, they're clarity, they're data that can get us to the next step. Future you is someone who understands that growth is a necessary part of the process. You can't do it without it. And this applies no matter what you want to become: a teacher, a lawyer, a researcher, a leader. Because here at AYG, we are developing our future leaders. We are developing our thinkers, our next generation of thinkers. And I don't know about you, but I think that in today's world, thinking and the ability and the capacity to think is the greatest commodity that you could possibly have. Nothing can replace that. Your future title does not create your identity. Your identity, what you believe about yourself, how you think, how you feel, how you act. Your identity creates the pathway to your future. So there's a difference between thinking about your success and thinking from your success, thinking about your goal or thinking from your goal. And I love this. This is one of the most important distinctions we have. Many people spend their lives thinking about the person that they want to become. They look at successful people and they think, what would it be like to be that confident? What would it be like to have that opportunity or that job? What would it be like to have that money? What would it be like to have that material thing? What would it be like to achieve that goal? But transformation happens not when you think that way, but when you begin thinking from that identity. So instead of asking, what would a successful person do? Right? Instead of asking, what would a successful person do, which takes it outside of you, ask, what would I do if I already saw myself fully in my success? How would you approach your studying? How would you prepare for your exam? How would you scroll? What would your algorithm be feeding you? When would you put the phone down? How would you respond to criticism? How would you handle rejection? How would you handle mistakes or failures? How would you perceive those? How would you speak to yourself when something doesn't go according to plan? I want to be clear here. Your future self is not some completely different person. Your future self is you, just with different beliefs and habits and standards for yourself and those around you. So the goal is not to become someone else. The goal is to remove the limitations that prevent you from fully becoming yourself. Let me share a common example I see all the time. A student comes to me preparing for some competitive application process. In Canada, in the States, in Europe, it doesn't matter where. The student, of course, is fully capable, intelligent. They have worked hard. They have accomplished so much, but they tell me, I just don't think I'm that person who gets accepted. And that sentence tells me everything. The issue is not their ability. It's the identity that they have assigned themselves. Somewhere along the way, they created a belief that success belongs to somebody else, that success is also contingent on other things, that success is somehow beyond themselves, that it relies on things outside of themselves. We see this in high achievers, in people who are naturally gifted, in people who always knew what they wanted. I didn't always know what I wanted. If you don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. And when we start unpacking these beliefs, we discover something important. Successful people are not successful because they never doubt themselves. They are successful because they learn how to move forward despite the uncertainty. And there's a reading that we do in the Success Society that talks about how successful people are successful because they do the uncomfortable thing. They choose to do the uncomfortable thing over and over and over again. And the thing that is consistent about them is they will always choose the thing that they need to do, even if it's uncomfortable. That's the way that I choose. That's the way I make my decisions. If I made the easy decisions, I would not be sitting here. I would not be doing this podcast. I would not be where we are here if I chose the easy thing. There is so much behind the scenes, and you'll agree with me, that people will never see. Growth happens in the dark. And some of the biggest shifts happen in the darkest moments. Uncomfortable. Don't escape them. Experience them, feel them, live them. Figure it out. It is all figuring it out from a place of future you. with your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions from the place of future you in the now to get there. So successful people choose to believe in their ability to grow. You choose to see challenges as part of the journey rather than evidence that you should quit. There's no quitting here at AYG. That's the only rule, no quitting. And slowly through your actions, you become the person you once wished for. So you have to let go of your old identity. The old identity, in most cases, gets to a point where it just needs to die. The old identity is not who you are anymore, and you have to let it go. Is that hard and uncomfortable? Yeah. Because with it comes comfort, predictability, ease. You know what to expect. Even if you're not where you want to be, at least that discomfort is predictable. Right? We've all heard like misery loves company. Right? It's more comfortable to just be miserable than to do something about it. Than to actually be uncomfortable in the steps that you're taking to do something about it. You have to let go of the old identity, that one that is keeping you small, that one that is holding you back. A huge part of transformation is recognizing that your current identity may not be the identity that takes you where you want to go. What got you here won't get you there. It got you here, great. We say thank you. But now how do we get there? Not with the same identity. Sometimes we hold on to beliefs because they've been with us for a long time. We've absorbed them. People have told them to us. We believe them. Right? It's fascinating. Clients will come to me and they'll say, I asked all these people around me what they think I'm good at. And they all said, blah, 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 this, that. And they all said I should be X. I said, what do you think? And they're like, well, yeah, I'm good at all those things, but I don't really love that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We hold on to beliefs because they've been with us. People have told us that. We have believed them. Maybe you've always thought, I'm not naturally organized, I'm bad at exams, I'm not confident, I'm not the kind of person who gets into competitive programs. But I want you to ask yourself, is this belief helping me become the person that I want to be? You have to ask yourself, are my thoughts aligned with my goals? And you have to promise yourself, I will not think a thought that is not aligned with my goals. Is that hard? Maybe, yeah. But you build an awareness and you bounce back real quick. And you catch it quicker and quicker every time. This is the beauty of the Success Society. The awareness comes out in coaching. It takes far less time in the Success Society to do this than on your own because it's facilitated. You're learning and hearing from others in the community. And it is amazing. So you think to yourself, is this belief helping me become the person that I want to be? Your past experiences may have shaped you, but they don't define you. Growth requires being willing to release that old version of yourself. And you're going to have many old versions of yourself as you grow. The version of yourself who procrastinates, who avoids discomfort, who plays small because it feels safer. Because the person you want to become requires something different. So I want you to take a moment and reflect on these questions because the person you are becoming requires something different. First, what is one goal that you have that feels exciting but also feels intimidating? Second, what does the version of you who achieves that goal believe about themselves? You can write this down. Just pause this and write it down. Third, what habits, thoughts, or behaviors belong to your old identity that you are ready to release? Fourth, what is one action you can take this week that aligns with the person you are becoming? And I even want you to think, what is one action you can take today that aligns with the person you're becoming? Remember, your future self is not created in one big moment. It is created through small choices repeated consistently. Every time you show up, every time you choose discipline over avoidance, every time you choose growth over comfort, you are building that person. So I want you to remember this. Your future is not created by only what happens around you. It's created by the person you decide to become. Your imagination is powerful because it allows you to see beyond your current circumstances. And your beliefs are powerful because they influence your choices. They create your results. So this week, I want to invite you to practice becoming your future self. When you face a challenge, ask, what would future me do in this moment? And take that action. You don't need to wait till you feel completely ready. You will not. You don't need to wait until someone else gives you permission. They will not. The transformation begins the moment that you decide that the person you want to become is already within you. If this resonated with you, I want you to share it. I want you to write to me and tell me what stuck with you. Write to me at Apply Yourself Global on Instagram and share with me what stuck with you. Your potential is not something you discover. It is something you unlock. And I hope to see you to do so much more of this work in the Success Society. I'll see you next time.